I know that your family didn't make a lot of money when you were younger. What sacrifices did you have to make because of this?
I don't think I really had to make any sacrifices myself, but I know that my mom and dad made sacrifices when we were children. When I was little, we didn't go on vacations every year. Um, and my mom would shop and try to get the best deals on clothes and try to get the best deals on food and try to make food go a long way. And we didn't have fancy things. We didn't have a fancy home. We didn't have fancy bedrooms. We didn't have fancy clothes. We didn't have fancy cars.
How'd that
But
make you feel?
I don't think I felt anything. I never felt like I lacked for anything growing up. I was always very happy. I felt very secure at home. I never even would have known that we didn't have money, except for when I look back. I know there were things that we didn't do and things we didn't have, but it never bothered me.
I know that you had to start working at a young age. Was that difficult?
Nope, not at all. I loved it. As a matter of fact, I asked my dad and my mom if I could start working because I wanted to be able to have a way to make my own money, and probably because I wanted to get out of the house and not have to do so much work at home. It was more fun to be able to work and go and talk with people and learn new things and come home every week with a paycheck that I could put some money in the bank and buy some clothes for myself or go out to the movies or order a pizza with my friend across the street, whatever I wanted to do.
How young were you when you first started?
I was 13 when I started working.
Did that change you as a person having to start that young?
I'm sure it did because I think that to this day my favorite pastime is to work. And I love working with people. I love learning new things. And I believe that because I started young, work became a very big part of my life. And that's what I enjoy most to do.
Did that affect your personal life at all about hanging out with friends or
Oh,
anything?
yeah, I'm sure it did. I'm sure that, I know for a fact I only went to one football game my whole high school years, and that was um, the homecoming game my senior year at high school. Otherwise, I never went to a Saturday football game. Our football games were on Saturdays. I never went to a football game. I very rarely went to a basketball game, only because, not so much because of work, but because I had no way to get back and forth from the games. But working was what I did, and that's where my social life was primarily, because I really only had a couple close friends at high school.
I also know you had 8 brothers and sisters. How was it growing up with that many siblings?
Most of the time, I would say that I loved it, but I'm sure as a young kid, there were many days that I hated it. When I remember back and think about how everybody got into my things, and when my friends came over, they would tease my friends. When my boyfriends would come over, they would do embarrassing things. But I loved every one of my brothers and sisters, and I still love every one of my brothers and sisters. And I always wanted to take care of them and make things nice for them
Did you have to do any extra work around the house because you were the oldest one?
all the time. All the time. I was the first one, I still am the first one called upon by my mom and dad if they need something. But I would have to do laundry, clean the house on Saturdays. On the Saturdays that I wasn't working, which was, when I got into high school, I was working every Saturday. So before that, we would have to clean the house on Saturdays before we could go out to hang out with our friends. We had to have the house vacuumed, dusted, laundry done, everything on Saturdays. Um, I wasn't able to go out a lot because my mom wanted me to be home to help her with putting meals on, taking care of the kids, walking the babies, feeding them dinner, doing laundry. And my mom didn't necessarily like for me to go anywhere because if she wanted to go out to dinner with my dad or they wanted to do something, she wanted me home to babysit.
Did that make you more mature when you were younger than most of your other kids your age?
Yes, I was always much more mature than my friends. As a matter of fact, my mom would tell me that I was probably about 10 years ahead of my friends because I had a lot of responsibility as a young child. And responsibility teaches you maturity.
Yep.